Check 1, 2.
This is one.
If you give me 1 minute, I can do one.
Okay. Jordan, do you mind being in a mic holder? Is it on or not? Yes, they're on. Hey, Neil. Neil. Oh, are you guys close? Or? Okay, thank you all for being here. I know, a lot going on, and we're in a state of fluidity right now, but we appreciate you being here. We have Commissioner Mike Oresco here to answer any and all of your questions. We have microphone holders. Jordan is over there, so just please raise your hand and identify yourself, and Mike will answer your questions. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Mike.
Thank you, Bernie. Yes, I really don't have a statement. You all know what we have done and what our position is, but I'd be happy to take any questions you might have. Adam?
Adam Amini, ESPN. What was the timeline like in terms of your reactivity to how the NBA, how some of the other conference tournaments were handling this over the course of last night into this morning?
Well, we met this morning, and we knew we were up against a time constraint, and we knew that our players, student athletes, would be taking the court in a matter of a few hours. And we were aware that other conferences were meeting and considering this, but we felt that whatever decision we made would have to be the right decision from our standpoint. We're not concerned with what other conferences were going to do. And when we made the decision, I guess, from what I understand, no other conference had actually made a final decision. But somebody said, did you want to go first? And I said, I wasn't concerned with what other conferences were doing. We simply wanted to do the right thing and in a timely manner. And we also wanted to, obviously, talk to our leadership on our board and our ADs, and we were able to do that, and we were able to ultimately decide that to protect our student athletes was our highest priority, and we felt that there was no way that we could really defend, playing the games. You hate to have them miss an opportunity like this to play in a tournament like this and in this beautiful arena. You hate that, but you realize that your first priority is always the health, safety, and well-being of your student athletes, and that was our primary concern. And we felt that, again, we were up against, a tough timeline, and we ultimately made the decision to cancel the tournament. And then now we understand that a lot of other conferences have done that. And we're not surprised. We suspected that might happen, And again, I was asked earlier, what will the NCAA do next week, and I have no idea, and it's not for me to comment.
Is there unanimous approval for all of this? There was no sort of anybody else saying we should continue?
Excuse me?
In the discussions you had this morning, was there anyone else who said that we should continue, or was it unanimous support for this decision?
No, it's our, it's our decision. It's my decision along with our board chair, and ultimately the commissioner has to make that call along with our board chair. And we alerted, everyone, and we certainly alerted, we told Matt Holman what we were doing, and Matt's the general manager of the arena here, and he was completely in agreement. He was aligned with what we did. But it's our decision, and, sometimes you have to make, a hard decision. And again, last night we decided to play with, to have the tournament without fans, and that was a hard decision. This morning, in view of what happened with the NBA, and in view of the progressive nature of this virus and the pandemic nature, and the fact that the curve is still unfortunately going up, and the fact that you could have a situation where, evidence showed up afterwards of a student athlete having this, and then a lot of other student athletes potentially could be exposed, we just felt that the risk was not worth it in view of what we were dealing with. So we ultimately made that decision.
Mike Corey, ESPN. Mike, what is your connection with the rest of the member institutions and the talks with the other, athletic directors about other sports? And, as we see other schools now starting to cancel their entire sports or spring sports season.
Yeah, that's a good question. We've been meeting with our athletic directors. It turns out we had an athletic directors meeting scheduled for this morning, and that's why it was fortuitous that we had our AD leadership, with me in the room. And we also were planning a meeting later this afternoon as well. We've decided to move that up, and so we've had some meetings. They're still ongoing. That's the primary discussion right now, is what we're going to do with our spring competitions, both conference and non-conference, and our championships. And we'll have some word probably by mid-afternoon as to what we're going to do with those. I'm not at liberty to say right now, but we're definitely going to have a position on it, and our schools will make a decision. And it'll be a conference decision. It has to be. You can't have some schools playing conference games and others not. And we wanted to also make a decision that either would be conference or all-inclusive, all competitions, non-conference and championships. And we'll make that decision, and we'll have something for you sometime, I think, this afternoon. Dave, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
For Cincinnati getting the auto bid, obviously, it seems somewhat trivial, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen over the course of the weekend, but was that a fairly short discussion about Cincinnati getting the auto bid if there is an NCAA tournament played?
Yeah, it was not really part of the discussion at this point. Obviously, as an aside, you think about these things, but the focus really was, what should we do? Because again, it really comes down to, the student athletes look forward to this conference tournament. It was going to be a really terrific, intense tournament. But in the end, we felt that after everything that's happened and the risks, it just was not worth doing it. And that the health and safety of our student athletes was absolutely paramount. And then the other things just didn't matter. And that'll get sorted out. Again, we don't know what the NCAA situation is, but it'll get sorted out.
And I know, Mike, we're still under so much uncertainty, but do you envision or think or have any discussions with people about the potential of something like this even being made up, or, postponed, trying to get, maybe if the NCAA tournament cancels? I mean, do you think there's a way down the road that could even happen at a later date?
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
It would all, if the NCAA were to postpone, then perhaps, but I really don't think that it would probably be feasible. You know, the logistics would be awfully difficult to do something like that. That's why we felt that postponements, even of our spring sports, would really not be likely because, you know, you were up against NCAA timelines. So I really just don't see that happening. I mean, is there some remote possibility that if the NCAA decides to postpone the tournament, I have no idea what the NCAA is going to do, and I don't want to even suggest what they might do, then could we come back and do it? I really doubt that that's feasible. You know?
Is there any concern amongst people here, team, or any of the teams that were here about any necessary testing? Do you guys leave that up to them individually? Is there any type of conference mandate to that?
Yeah, we would leave that up to the individual institutions and the staff here. The staff here has been terrific, and you know, the concern wasn't just our student athletes, our players and coaches. It was also the staff here, you know, the credentialed media, others who would be here. Everyone involved with our tournament was the concern today. And in terms of that kind of thing, yeah, that would be up to the schools. And we hope, obviously, everybody does. I don't want to sound trite that we don't have a case, because obviously then people would potentially have been exposed. You know, thanks everyone, and thanks again for your support of the tournament, and again, safe travels, and stay safe and stay healthy. Everybody stay healthy. Thank you. Tom?